Am I audible, visible to all of you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So let's begin our
Yes.
class for today. Okay, so back and neck straight, just gently close the eyes and start watching the breath. Observing the natural flow of the breath. Start disconnecting from everything around you. Leave everything behind and be aware of the mat, your posture, and your breath. Come back to this present moment. Only one reality, your breath. Make sure that your forehead, neck, and shoulders are relaxed. And as your mind settles down, just to work on elongating your breath, going for the practice of Puraka, long, slow, and deep inhalation, and Rechaka, long, slow, and deep exhalation. And let's get ready for chanting Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shanti. Exhale completely, and then inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations. Join both the palms together in front of the chest and rub both the palms together. And place them over the eyes. Very slowly while blinking and looking at the palm, to open up your eyes, come back with a big smile, and namaste to everyone. Let us begin today's session. So yesterday we practiced normal breathing and we also covered certain concepts of pranayam. So today we are going to cover some more concepts which are important, and if I have time I will introduce the next practice, or if we don't have time we are going to work on normal breathing only today. So let's see how much time is left after I've covered all the points. Okay. So today we are discussing the general notes. Okay. General things that you should know basically before you step into the practice of pranayama. You can give the heading as um, general notes for a practitioner. Okay. So see, pranayam is an advanced practice. Okay. So depending on which pranayam we are going to, I will be telling you separately also contraindications, benefits, everything I'm going to tell you separately for each pranayam also when we cover that pranayam. But there are some general things that you should know before you step into that practice, and when you are teaching, then also you have to do what? Make sure that your students know these things before you step into the practice of pranayama. Okay. So the first thing that is very important is the breathing. So you can write down breathing with heading as breathing. So in pranayama, generally breathing practice, in fact, generally the breathing is done through the nose. Okay. So when you're in stomach, make that in the beginning of the session, inform that breathing is normally done through the nose unless and otherwise you instruct them to breathe through the mouth or breathe in a different way. So sometimes like the tongue comes out in one of the practices, so we inhale through that. So inhaling through the mouth is rare. Mostly we inhale through the nose. So first thing is this. So under breathing you can write generally through the nose. Okay, sorry I can't hear you very well. Okay, wait, let me turn off my video, then let's see. How is it now? Is it a little bit better?
Yes,
Am
it's
I
good.
okay? So I'll keep the video off then. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very important that you have all of these points. So my video is not very important, but these things are important. So yes, so breathing is clear through the nose. Okay. Then let's move to the contraindications. Now, each pranayam once again will have their own limitations. The people who can practice them will have own limitations, but in the contraindications generally for pranayam, if you are in some illness, okay, if there is some illness that is going on, severe illness, so suppose somebody is having fever, okay, so in that case the individual should either stick to the pre practices. There are some practices breath, there is some breath work you can still do, but either those are not pranayams. Okay, so those are pre practices for pranayam. So either you can go ahead and do those breathing practices, or you can just totally suspend the practice of pranayam. Okay, so if you still want to maintain the continuity, go for pre practices in case of illness. Okay. especially when you are in severe illness, then pranayam mostly is not practiced. Because as I told you yesterday, also nadis get blocked. That is when the disease comes up. So before starting the pranayam, we work on this free practice called nadi shodhana, or you must have heard of the term anulom vilom. So that helps you to release all blockages from the nadis. And after one has perfected this practice, it is only then that they step into the practice of pranayam. So there is no blockage. And in illness, there is always a pranic blockage. So you have to get past that first. Okay. Next, let's move to the time of practice. You can write down time of practice. So generally, when the body and mind both are like very calm, fresh, that is when the practice of pranayama is given. So in philosophy class, we will do the three gunas, the three qualities of nature, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And when we cover that, I will be explaining that during the day, there one of them dominates. Okay, so during the day, all three of them dominate, but at different times. So when the quality of the mind is sattvic, okay, when the mind is relaxed, body is relaxed, that is the time when you should practice pranayam. For a general person, these timings fall between the morning time, early morning time, and the evening time when the sun is setting. Okay, so that is when generally the body enters into sattvic quality, which is very balanced state. So for a normal practitioner, you can say early morning and before sunset. Sorry, during sunset time, that time slot you can practice pranayam. For a yogi, this changes. So for a yogi, there are different, according to different texts, different timings have been given for their practice. So it depends which text you are consulting. But we are on a beginner level, so these two timings become ideal. Also, there are certain pranayams that you should not practice before sleeping or in the evening time. So when we cover those, I will let you know. And the main thing is that one thing is or one time is preferable for you to practice. So when the sattvic quality dominates. But apart from that, keep the time and place of your practice consistent, the same. That will help you to strengthen your practice. So if you do something at the same time every day at the same place, then that energy builds up in that place. So when you enter that place, you will automatically, your body will go in that mode that now I have come to my mat this side of the room. So now I'm going to practice yoga only or pranayama only. Okay. Next is your, I would say, diet. So diet is further divided into two parts. One is when you are performing this, like what is the state of your stomach, and one is overall what is the diet change that you can make when you're going into the practice of pranayama. So let me discuss the first one. So you should always be empty stomach when you are practicing pranayama. So early morning it is very easy. You just freshen up and then you sit for your yoga practice. So early morning is very ideal for the practice of yoga and pranayama both. And second thing is if you're practicing during the evening time, then make sure that there is at least a gap of 3 to 4 hours between your meal and your practice. Okay. So the second part of this same thing, where you are focused on how your day-to-day diet should be. So your day-to-day diet, in modern terms, it should be a balanced diet. Okay? So make sure that you are having all the vitamins, minerals, the proteins, carbohydrates, fats, everything is there in your diet. So it should be a combination of all of these things. And make sure that when you enter into the practice of pranayam, you are consuming vegetarian food. Okay. So see, it's if you are completely on a non-vegetarian diet, it will be a very drastic shift for you. So go slowly. Okay, shift one meal at a time. Okay, but generally speaking, it is ideal to have vegetarian food during this time. Okay, so balanced diet and vegetarian diet. These are two main things. For a yogi, the concept of mitahar comes in. Okay, when I will discuss food with you in the philosophy class, I will be touching upon this topic. So we are only beginners, so it's okay. However, we eat our food. But when I discuss it in the philosophy class, I will tell you how you have to take your food, and you, if you feel that it is good for you, then you can go ahead and adopt that also. So let's move to the next point where we are talking about. So food is done, now bathing. Bathing is also very important. So a yoga practitioner generally maintains hygiene. So uh, one thing is that take a bath every day, yes, to maintain normal hygiene. Second thing is that either you take bath before your practice. Okay, so suppose you wake up early in the morning and you bathe, and then you sit for your yoga practice. The second thing that you can do is, okay, at least you're waking up early and that's a good enough change already for you, but you cannot bathe or it's too cold. You just cannot bathe. Okay, at that time in the morning. So what you can do is after you finish your pranayam practice, then take a gap of half an hour and then go and bathe. And in the food part, add one more point. So you can go up in your notes and add that even food should be consumed after a gap of half an hour. So you finish your practice, you go bathe after half an hour, and then you can have your food. But minimum gap of half an hour should be given. So next point that you can write is the clothes. So clothes, when it comes to clothing, it holds a lot of relevance, especially in yoga practice. So when you practice pranayam, you have to make sure that the clothes that you are wearing, they are very comfortable, they are loose. Okay, loose and comfortable clothing should be adopted when you are doing any yogic practice. Try to avoid synthetic clothes or tight fit clothes. So when you go shop for clothes, for yoga. In the market these days, you will find where it is also made up of synthetic material, so it doesn't allow your skin to breathe. So try to buy something which is made up of natural fibers. You can go ahead buy something made up of cotton, and just make sure it is loose. Your body can breathe. You can move easily. So I'll move to the next point. I hope everybody is like, I'm not going too fast basically. Everyone is able to note down everything. If you miss out something, just unmute yourself and let me know. I will repeat it. Okay. So next thing is the asan. So asan is a physical posture, like thing you term used for physical posture. And asan is also the term used for the mat that you are using, the place, the like thing you are sitting on, basically. Okay, so that is also called the asan. So make sure there is always some asan with you, be it your yoga mat, or you can go ahead and buy a normal dari, but there should be something with you when you are practicing pranayam. So when you sit down on the ground, try to stay connected to the ground, one thing, because then you are able to feel the gravity and feel closer to earth. And there should always be something between the earth and your body. So that is the asan. So fix your asan. That asan will hold the energy once again. Very subtle thing, but it will create an impact. Then let's go to the place of practice. What is the ideal place for you to practice pranayam? So any place, few qualities that that area should have. One, it should be clean. The room should be quiet, or the area in which you're practicing, it should be quiet so that the mind can focus easily. It should go, uh, it should have a pleasant vibe to it. That plants color the room that you like. So very that should be very bright. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you again.
Okay. Is my voice clear or is it breaking?
It was breaking a little bit, but it's back now. You're okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Uh, okay. So I was telling you about the place of practice: quiet, clean, pleasant, well ventilated, and it is possible when that the sunlight comes in. And also don't sit in air conditioner and practice pranayam. In fact, even the use of a normal fan is generally not allowed when you're practicing pranayam to feel the impact. So the normal temperature which is there for you, just remain in that and practice. So depending on which area you are located in, the weather temperature conditions will vary. So don't try to sit in a very cold area. Then don't turn on the heater. Just sit in that normal condition, like wear a lot of clothes. Okay, and practice. Now, let me tell you the sequence. So, sequence for us when we practice pranayam is generally like pranayam is placed after asana, and asana is placed after the practice shatkarma first, and then asana. Then you can add when you're making your protocol for the class, then you can open with Om chanting, then make your students practice Shatkarma, then practice Asana, and then go into the practice of Pranayam. And then you can take them in the meditation practice. So this is how you're going to align all of them. The pranayam practices are not done before the asana practice. The pre-practices you can do in the beginning of the class also, that's all right. Like we did normal breathing yesterday, we can go ahead and after chanting Om, you can ask the students to do normal breathing for some time, then go into Shatkarma practice, that is okay. But when we come to the hardcore practices of pranayam, the main practices, then that is always done after the practice of asana. Then let's move to the posture. Okay. So apart from apart from those things, mostly you will be in a sitting posture which is comfortable for you. Okay, so you can go ahead with any meditative posture or just simply sit in a cross practice pranayam. You have to ensure that the back and neck is straight and the body is relaxed. That is the only requirement that you have to make sure is there. You can also either make them sit on a chair or against the wall. You can give them cushions so that sometimes there is a gap between the knees and the ground. So you can place cushions over there. But generally, if somebody is healthy, try to avoid doing any of these things. If you can sit up straight and it's a matter of changing it or increasing your practice in that sitting posture, then increase Wait, I'm losing you again. Okay. Let me change my location. How is it now? Is it any better?
It sounds like it at the moment.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. So, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, great. I hope it's the same for you, Rachel.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit crackly. There's a couple of bits I think I need to check with you afterwards, but please continue.
Okay. Let me know if it's like causing a lot of problems.
Will do.
So, but I'll come. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So we came to the posture. I told you how you're going to practice the posture when you're doing pranayam. So next point that we have over here is the strain. So when you are doing pranayam, you have to avoid strain. Any form of strain should be avoided. So that is why there are certain pre-practices to pranayam that I will be introducing so that you get prepared for the main practices. The most important thing is the pre-practice. Okay, so the more you work on the pre-practice, then the pranayam that you have to practice will not pose a lot of difficulty overall, if I speak. But if the pre-practice is not strong, then you will struggle with the pranayam. So just make sure that when we are practicing the pre-practices, then you are very focused on those and work diligently on those. Okay, so on a bodily level, on the breath level, all sorts of strain should be avoided, especially when you are stepping into the practice of kumbha, where you retain your breath. Okay, so that is advanced practice, so we won't be doing that much. But whenever we will perform the practice of kumbha, make sure that you're going as per your own capacity and not holding for, like, if I say 5 seconds or 10 seconds, do not go ahead and set a number in your mind. Okay, just hold as long as it's comfortable and release as and when you get uncomfortable in kumbha. Okay, with time you will be able to master each and every practice, so don't worry, we have a lot of time, and I'm sure you guys will be able to continue with your practice even after the classes. So you'll be able to achieve all the pranayams very well, become very good practitioner. But don't ever force yourself. Okay. Then last point that we have is side effects. So when you go into the practice of pranayam, you can write side effects. Let me just explain this one. So when we step into the practice of pranayam, we are taking the body on, like, we are working on a very subtle level on the body. And because we have never done that before, there are certain side effects that might show up on your body. Okay? Might show up on the mind, on the body. Overall, there might be some discomfort, some shaking, uh, all of these experiences you might have, depending on your own capability, how your body is able to adjust. You have practiced before, not practiced before. All of these things, depending on all of this, you will have what different side effects. Okay, so when these side effects show up, it is okay. You can suspend the practice at that point of time and wait for your body to get back normal again, and then again resume your practice. But if these side effects keep showing up for a long period of time, that is when you need to suspend the practice completely. Okay, so one thing is that I'm practicing right now. There's some discomfort that I face. I suspend the practice. When I get normal, I restart my practice. Now, for a few days, same thing is happening. So, one thing is there's a normal time period that your body will take to adjust to the practice. So, till then, if these side effects are showing up, it's all right. After a while, they will fade away. But if they persist to exist, that is when you need to stop the practice and actually, for now, like I'm your teacher, so consult me, or you can go ahead and ask your student to consult a doctor also. Because if this is the level of difficulty that the person is facing, then it might be that there is some issue in the body. Okay, so after this course, you will also become competent teachers, so you can also go ahead and guide them. Okay, so these are the main points that we had to cover today. The general notes for a pranayam practitioner. Okay, so we have some time left. I think I will introduce the next free practice to you guys, and then we can go ahead and practice that. So next practice that we have is abdominal breathing. Okay, so generally most of the people in the day-to-day life breathe via the chest, through the chest, because life is pretty stressful for everyone, and with the COVID times going on, the stress has only increased. So when we come in a fight or flight mode, that is when the breath becomes shallow. And it's okay that the breath becomes shallow for a while because everybody experiences stress. But in today's time, people experience more stress than normal. That is why there are a lot of disorders that have come up in general. Okay, which have the root cause, like the root cause of that thing is stress. And on a bodily level, the stress is showing up as not proper breathing, but only chest breathing. Okay, when you are breathing through the chest only. Okay, so chest comes out, chest goes in. Only this breathing is going on. That is when your lungs are not oxygenated properly. Okay, so there are different lobes in the lungs. There are three lobes on your right side and two on the left side. Okay, but when I am explaining the abdominal breathing, I will take it as the three lobes. Why? Because we have three breathing patterns to oxygenate each and every lobe. Okay, so abdominal breathing helps you to oxygenate the lower part of the lungs, the lower lobe. Okay, so wait, let me write down our topic. Abdominal breathing. So when I breathe in this pattern, the one that I'm going to teach you now, the lower lobes of the lungs are being oxygenated. So why do I call this abdominal breathing? The air is not going in my abdomen, right? When I'm breathing in through the nose, I'm making sure that the air is filling in the lungs, and I'm also talking about the oxygenation of the lower uh, lobe of the lungs. Abdominal, this name is given to this breathing. Why? Because when the diaphragm goes down properly, when you fill in the air and the diaphragm goes down properly, that is when the abdomen expands. Okay, so on a physical level, you will be able to see that the abdomen comes out when you breathe in, and the abdomen squeezes back in when you breathe out. Okay, so this is the first part of the correct breathing pattern. So now before we practice, one small exercise for all of you. Whenever you find yourself breathing through the chest during the day, and you know your abdomen isn't moving while you're breathing, then you are going to switch to abdominal breathing. Okay. So consciously make an effort to switch to abdominal breathing because this is the correct way of breathing. Eventually, your rhythm will be set in such a manner where you are breathing like in this format where your abdomen is moving as you breathe. Okay. So what we are going to do is, it's up to you. You can take either position. You can either sit up straight on the mat. Your spine should be straight, or this is also very well experienced while a person lies down. Okay, so you can lie down on the mat also. Lie down in shavasana on the mat. You can choose your posture and just follow my instruction. Once again, you do not have to force your breath. You should be able to breathe naturally. And if you're sitting up straight, make sure your back neck is straight, eyes are closed. If you're lying down, just relax the body. Once again, make sure that your neck is straight. You're not tilting it to the right or left side. And just observe the normal breath. For now, just observe your breath as it is. Relax your mind. Make sure that your entire body is relaxed. Scan the body. And gently place your right hand on the abdomen and exhale out all the air. Squeeze the abdomen in when you exhale, and then begin to inhale. When you inhale, your belly should come out. There should be a rise in the belly, expansion of the belly like a balloon. Once you reach the maximum point, now you have inhaled completely. You can go in the reverse process, the process of exhaling. And squeezing the abdomen as you finish the exhalation, and go again into inhalation. So there is no retention, just inhalation and exhalation is going on. Continue this practice. And your mind will remain focused on the movement of the abdomen. Inhale abdomen out, exhale abdomen in. And go deeper with each passing breath. and remain very aware throughout this practice. Be very aware of each inhalation and each exhalation. Mind is completely focused on the movement of the abdomen. Keep it focused. It might have the tendency to run away, but bring it back. And see that with each passing breath, your breath is becoming more relaxed and calm. Mind is also relaxed and calm. And very slowly and gently, you can suspend the practice. Keep your right hand back either on the ground or on your knee, depending on which posture you are in. And now just observe your natural breath. Don't have to follow the movement of your abdomen now. Just normally observe the breath. Join both the palms together in front of the chest and rub both the palms together. And place them on the eyes. Allow your eyes to absorb the sleep. And let's do this one more time. Rub both the palms together. And place them over the eyes. Now very slowly while blinking and looking at the palms, open up your eyes. Okay. So this was the practice of abdominal breathing. Any doubts or any experience that you want to share, you can just unmute yourselves and share that. Any questions, any thoughts? Okay, so I'm going to assume that all of you have picked up the technique, and tomorrow we will be working more on this. Okay, so abdominal breathing is overall very good if you are facing some stress or anxiety, or in general if there are a lot of thoughts on your mind during the day, then you can simply do 10 to 15 breaths of abdominal breathing. Take out that time and you will naturally feel very relaxed. Okay, it's also a very good practice in case you have difficulty in going to sleep, so you can just lie down. So you can do this in a laying position also. That's a very big advantage. So everyone can practice this. Okay. There is no contraindication. You can lie down and practice this. Anybody who is ill can just lie down comfortably, practice it. So again, if you have difficulty in going to sleep, you can just lie down on your bed, lie down in Shavasana and practice abdominal breathing. And eventually you will slip into sleep. You will not realize when that happens, but it's eventually going to happen. Okay. So abdominal breathing is very important. So one thing, like throughout the pranayam classes, my main focus remains on working on abdominal breathing only. So in the future classes, I will introduce more practices and the pranayamas. But throughout these 28 days, work on gaining mastery over abdominal breathing. So give it 5-10 minutes in the morning, evening, whenever you feel you can make the time. Just give abdominal breathing 5 to 10 minutes, 2 times in a day. Okay, preferably before going to bed and after waking up. Those are very I would say 5 minutes you can give easily. So you can go ahead and incorporate that at this point of time. Okay. So any doubts? Okay. Okay, great. So let's end today's session. Back neck straight, close your eyes. We'll chant Om one time, followed by three Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Shanti. Shanti. Just feel the vibrations. Join both your palms together in front of the chest and bow down. Remember any one incident from your past 24 hours that you feel grateful for. Say a minute. Thank you. And now rub both the palms together. Place them over the eyes. And very slowly, while thinking and looking at your palms, open up your eyes. Come back with a big, big smile. And namaste to everyone. I will see all of you tomorrow for your philosophy class. And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.